Happy Monday, and I just want to get right into a conversation that's going to be very difficult to have. And because it's such a very difficult conversation, and I don't know why it's a difficult conversation. I know we, the blacks, we downplay so many different things. We downplay mental health. We downplay substance abuse. We downplay our overrepresentation in incarceration. We downplay educational outcomes and health disparities. We downplay so many very important things. And I guess by suppressing and downplaying some very critical dynamics, the ideal is that by not addressing them, they will somehow go away. And what I tend to think is those things that are buried in moist, dark places, they actually become more prevalent. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, I'm going to hit you with the trigger alert. This is a show that triggers people because you've entered a free think zone. If you're not willing to be exposed to other points of view, tune out now and don't read the comments. You have been warned. I want to talk a little bit about domestic violence for just a moment. And the reason I want to talk about domestic violence is because clearly domestic violence has made its way to the forefront via Diddy. If there's anybody who could sell something or share something all over the world, Diddy can do it. And what he's doing right now is showing domestic violence all over the world. I don't know. I'm not going to show that video. That's right. But I am going to ask you to go take a look at it if you haven't, or if you can stomach it. And if you can, what you're seeing is a black man violently attacking a black woman in a hotel. I'm talking all of it. The hitting, the kicking, the throwing, the dragging, whatever it is, it's all captured there. And there are two things that I want to talk about. First of all, I want to talk about will Diddy survive this ordeal? And I'm talking about Diddy the brand, Sean Combs the brand, Puffy the brand, Bad Boy the brand. And I'm going to go ahead and start by saying he'll never survive that. There is nothing redeeming about that. And I'm not sure if anyone has been able to come through that. And from someone who has been able to do a lot around marketing, public relations, communications, etc., I want to share a few things with you, first of all. Okay. It can take you thousands of years to create a brand or a reputation, and it could take a moment to destroy it. Oh. You could build your brand over thousands of years. You could build your reputation over a lifetime and destroy it in just a moment. However, I want to talk about the public relations, the brand management element to business. Like, I want to do two things. I want to talk about business, and then I want to talk about, the personal ramifications of what we just saw. And let's just be clear, what you saw is domestic violence. And if there's anybody that is dealing with domestic violence right now, I want you to go ahead and call 1-800-799-SAFE. 1-800-799-SAFE 7233. 1-800-799-SAFE. That's the National Domestic Violence Hotline, and they provide support. And here's some statistics. Just some United States of America, US of A statistics. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about prevalence. Wow. It says 1 in 4, that's 25%. And 1 in 9 men, but as it relates to women, 1 in 4 women, and I want to talk about the women today. But domestic violence does take place amongst men and others. But today I want to focus exactly on women without diluting it, because this dynamic between Diddy and his former girlfriend, Casey, is front and center. That is the brand of Diddy right now. This is what his brand is representing. And so 1 in 4 women, 25%, experience severe intimate partner physical violence. Listen to that again. 1 in 4 women experience severe intimate partner violence, physical violence, sexual violence, and or partner stalking, that's stalking, with impacts such as injury, PTSD, and STDs, sexually transmitted diseases. Okay. See, I don't know if anybody has made the connection between, domestic violence and sexually transmitted diseases, and also post-traumatic stress disorder, et cetera. These are statistics that I'm sharing with you. Annual instances. Approximately 10 million people in the U.S. experience domestic violence annually. That's 10 million, which equates to about 20 people per minute being physically abused by an intimate partner. Okay. This is I'm talking U.S., but this is global. Now let's do some demographic disparities. Demographic disparities amongst age, income, and race and ethnicity. I just want to touch on those 3 for just a moment. Demographic disparities: age, income, race, and ethnicity. Women ages 20 to 24 are at the highest risk of non-fatal intimate partner violence. 20 to 24. Income. Domestic violence rates are higher amongst women from lower income households. Women in the lowest income category experience over 6 times the rate of non-fatal intimate partner violence compared to those in the highest income category. Now, here's what I want you to also think about as we get into this conversation, and it's a difficult conversation. Again, the National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-SAFE, 1-800-799-7233. Listen to this: race and ethnicity. African American women, this is black women, and American Indian women face higher rates of domestic violence than any other group. Wow. Than any other group. Black women experience what you have witnessed on that footage with Diddy and his partner, Casey. Now, I understand that footage is from 2016. What you see that black woman going through is not unusual and not uncommon. It's not unusual and it's not uncommon. And today, Diddy is the brand. And the reason Diddy's brand will not survive is because this is an ultimate taboo. In other words, there's no one that can see a black man beating, kicking, dragging, and abusing a woman and say, well, you know what, that's just part of the bad boy image. Yeah. In other words, you know what, nothing to see here. We're not worried about that. It's everything to see here. And it's what everyone doesn't want to see. However, based on these statistics, it's what too many black women are going through all of the time.
Yes.
Even though we know it's happening, we don't want to see it. Mm-hmm. So you hear about individuals who abuse their partners, or I don't know how you hear about it. I was having a talk with Big T, and I'm saying I've never been around black men, and this is how prevalent this is. If you look at 1 in 4 and all of these different numbers, I have never been around black men who sat around and said, you know what, last night I had to beat my woman's ass. Right. I had to beat the brakes off out of her. I had to kick her and stomp her and drag her. And I've never heard that conversation. It is so, I don't know if it's shameful. Like, those who do it know it's so shameful that it's not something you brag about.
Right.
And obviously there's some men right now. We're talking men and women right now. We're talking about men who abuse women. According to these statistics, some of you men who are watching right now are beating the hell out of your intimate partner who you say you love, and you're watching this and you're about to say Brother Jeff's the enemy for talking about it.
In the name of love.
You're about to say, hold up, you don't know, because I remember long ago when this was going on with Chris Brown, and I brought it up and somebody said, but you don't know. That's how he was raised. I'm like, okay, so what you're about to tell me is that because something happened to you, that's the reason. I know the reason, but that is not a defense.
Right.
But for some it is. However, this is a difficult conversation, and I'm just going to dig right into it. Here's a piece that no one seems to be talking about. And when I bring this up, if you didn't think about this, it's going to be an aha moment for you. If you didn't think about this, I want to go back to this for just a second. And it says, Sean Combs, a.k.a. P. Diddy, he issued an apology. Now, remember, I'm not showing the video footage, but it's widely available. He issued an apology after a hotel surveillance video from 2016 was released. So, in other words, the video that you're seeing has been in existence since 2016.
Yes.
But they're saying that the hotel or somebody, allegedly, I don't know, but we're clear it exists. We're clear that the video exists because now it is attached to the brand. It is attached to the Bad Boy brand. Mm-hmm. And it said that when Casey came back to the hotel, she was told to go home because a video exists. Now, all this is alleged. She's told to go home. So you're going to tell me in the next breath that perhaps that video footage was purchased for $50,000 and was put away until 2024. Why isn't anybody saying, is the hotel complicit for not protecting a black woman?
Ow.
See, nobody's saying, oh, here goes Brother Jeff talking that stuff again. Why didn't somebody say, if a black woman or anybody is being violently attacked on your premises, are you putting that away so that you are not held accountable, or are you protecting a black man who happens to have $50,000 to give you for some video footage? If a crime is taking place on your premises, and if somebody was to look up who that hotel is, who owns that hotel, who are the stockholders of that hotel, and who accepted the $50,000 to make some footage go away, why aren't we having that conversation? Because domestic violence isn't just about those two in this situation now, in my humble opinion. In my humble
Of course not.
opinion. In my humble opinion. Like, why isn't the hotel issuing a statement? I haven't seen it. Maybe they have. Why isn't the hotel saying, we apologize for allowing whatever happened to that black woman since 2016 that we know about, all the way up to this very moment? We want to be very transparent about our involvement as well. I haven't heard anybody talk about that. You know why? Because the hotel obviously didn't know that a crime took place on their premises, and domestic violence is a crime. Domestic violence is a crime. And so with that being said, I want to go forward, because for those of you who have read Casey's lawsuit that led to the $30 million settlement, I understand this situation is documented inside of that lawsuit.
Right.
However, listen to this. However, the lawsuit was mild in its description of what took place in that hotel. The lawsuit was mild in terms of how it described what took place to Casey Ventura in that hotel. It was mild. So if that was mild and it led to an immediate settlement.
Right.
It led to an immediate settlement.
But no admission of guilt.
Now, after the settlement, I want to be able, so I can, be very clear about what the attorney. This is what the attorney said. The point I'm making is there are a lot of people complicit, and there's a lot of violence that's going unspoken, unknown, or even covered up, because we would probably have to call this a conspiracy. We would, if someone took $50,000 to cover up a crime, we would probably have to call this a conspiracy. Now, I already know, listen, I've already seen some comments earlier because, you all want to flip this on Brother Jeff. Well, what about this? No, I'm talking about this right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about, 1 in 4 women are getting the hell beat out of them, and the majority are black women. And we're not talking about that. Everybody want to talk about something else. But I remember when, what about this right now? And usually, the loudest ones defending said behavior are the ones beating the hell out of their partners.
In the name of love.
Because that's what we do. Brother Jeff, if you say Brother Jeff and it comes out of your mouth, my question is going to be, are you beating the hell out of your woman? Or have you beat the hell out of your woman? Because why are you talking to me? I'm not even gotten into the point about my thoughts about, Diddy. Everybody knows it's horrible. Everybody knows it's unacceptable, but we're talking about it's being done, and Diddy ain't the only one doing it. Now, here's my question for those of you. Who have ever hired an attorney. And I don't know the ethics of this particular statement I'm going to make. If you know you are guilty and you hire an attorney, are you able to go to your attorney and say, you know what, I'm guilty as hell, but I need you to prove my innocence? Yeah. Are you able to say to your attorney, I'm guilty as hell, but I need you to prove my innocence? Why? Because I have enough money to hire you to represent me. Mm-hmm. And if you represent me, you cannot work against me.
That's what money's for.
Now listen to this, because following that $30 million settlement, which took place immediately, which tells me that there's a lot in that particular document that might be coming to light as well. However, following that settlement, here's what Sean Combs' attorney, this is his statement of innocence. No, this is the statement of innocence. Right. This is the I didn't do it piece. In other words, I paid to not have to address any of that without an admission of guilt.
With no admission of guilt.
With no admission of guilt. All right, so listen to this. Here's the statement of Ben Brothman, who probably was paid a pretty penny.
Probably.
To represent Sean Combs.
This case. Yeah.
And to negotiate $30 million. Okay, here's the statement. Just so we are clear. Listen, and you could see them, you can see the legal arrogance in this statement. Now, again, this attorney is representing his client, and I'm going to assume that this attorney had no idea that Sean Puffy Combs is guilty, at least of something in there. At least of something in that filing. There's something in there. So we have to assume if you can hire an attorney and you have to tell the attorney I didn't do it, then you have someone fighting on your behalf. But if you could tell your attorney I did do some of it, and they go to bat for you because you have money, they are part of the conspiracy also.
No, they
or should be.
Okay, they might should be. But.
Or should be. Because if I'm representing you and I know you did some of that, you should be held accountable also. However, this is what the attorney said. Just so we are clear, a decision to settle a lawsuit, especially in 2023, is in no way an admission of wrongdoing. Mr. Combs' decision to settle the lawsuit does not in any way undermine his flat-out denial of the claims. He is happy they got to the mutual settlement and wishes Miss Ventura the best. That's the settlement. That's the statement after the settlement.
Case closed.
Case closed until this weekend.
Oh.
Did anybody see the Sean Puffy Combs apology?
I heard
Is anybody out there familiar with public relations, crisis management, marketing, and internal communications and external communications? Because if you're not, let me share something with you for just a moment.
Come on.
When I told you about reputation and brand, like the value of your brand, we don't even have to be political about this right now. If someone accuses you of something you didn't do, what is the first thing that you do? In most cases, ask children. The first thing they'll say is, I didn't do that. They're lying on me. Kids know that without even having any representation. Now, if you are being charged with, now this is the part that, you know, this is off the beaten path of the domestic violence conversation we're having today. But if you are being charged with having inappropriate relationship and trafficking children, wouldn't you have something to say about that immediately? Well, from a PR standpoint, from a brand management standpoint, from protecting your brand and everything attached to it, the very first thing you do is you come out and you vehemently deny exactly what's being charged against you. You don't go radio silent. No one would recommend that you do that. No one would tell you in the face of sexual trafficking, child molestation, etc., rape, etc., no one is going to advise you in the PR world to go radio silent. No one. That is not about Sean Puffy Combs. That's about anybody Right now, if you went to school, you went to your job, you went anywhere, and someone said, you know what, I just saw that you're a rapist and you've been charged with rape and you're trafficking children and all those different things, you'd have something to say about that immediately. Now, in the wake of a $30 million settlement, comes a video that made its way to CNN. Mm-hmm. CNN breaks a story. No one says, well, didn't that hotel do a disservice to that black woman by taking money, if they did, to make sure that that video goes away? They didn't just see a woman on their property getting dragged, punted, beat, objects thrown at her. They didn't just see a crime on their property. But that gets to go away. Now, here's where we get to the apology. And here's where I want to ask your thoughts. Because what happens when you are guilty? I'm not talking about when you are innocent. I already told you what you do when you're innocent. You vigorously defend your brand, your reputation, by all means. You're like, bring the evidence, bring it on, line them up, point them out. Let me face my accusers. I ain't sexually trafficking nobody. I ain't sexually abusing nobody. That's not me. That's not my character. Anybody around me knows that, and everybody around me is going to stand up and speak to my reputation. However, when you are found guilty, guess what the PR people are going to tell you? Go out and be remorseful. Go out and share your mistakes. Go out and take ownership immediately. And go out and address your shortcomings. And if you're a member of the blacks, make sure you wear a cross and make sure you talk about the Lord Jesus or Allah or Buddha or whomever. Make sure you throw God on all of this thing.
The Almighty.
Make sure you bring the Almighty along with you. Make sure you bring the Almighty with you. So, we haven't heard any statements about some horrendous behavior, but we are hearing a remorseful apology or admission without ever mentioning her name. That could have been a template apology for anything that's about to come up anywhere of all times. You might think we're talking about that video. We might be talking about some other videos. We might be talking about anything. But okay, so then let's do this. Let's look at this particular apology. I'm talking about just run it in your mind. And then you tell me, when you think about these words first, we're going to go pre-video, post-video. Pre-video, enough is enough. For the last couple of weeks, I have sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy. Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of those awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth. Now, this is after a couple of weeks. You would allow someone to assault your brand, your legacy, your reputation, and everything over a 2-week period and then come out with enough is enough. Okay, I get that. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged.
Right.
All right. Any. I did not do any. Like, you know.
Because I paid $50.
No, we're going to compare and contrast a couple of statements for just a moment. We're going to compare and contrast a couple of statements. Here are some words from the apology. It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. But sometimes you got to do that. I was effed up. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. First of all, I was effed up, I hit rock bottom is an excuse. See, I don't know who wrote this. I was effed up, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. Then take the excuses out, eliminate the excuses, and take full responsibility. He says, I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help.
What?
I got into going to therapy, going to rehab. I had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry, but I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry. Who are you talking to, first of all?
Yeah.
Who are you talking to? And how does that jive with, I didn't do any of the awful things being alleged? Like, I'm going pre-statement a couple of weeks after all of these allegations start coming forward. Then, if all of that taking full responsibility was attached to going to therapy and rehab and professional help and all of those different things, how come none of that work made itself present as we're moving forward? But now all of a sudden, here's my reality: professional help, therapy, rehab. The problem we have as a community is that we're looking this way when we should be looking this way. I'm not saying throw anybody under the bus. I have no intention of, and I have no ability to judge anybody. Like the elders say, I don't have a heaven or hell to put nobody in. But I do have an opinion. And my opinion is, we got to do better. We got to stop defending the indefensible. And we do have to own our mistakes and our shortcomings, and all of us have mistakes and shortcomings, but we can't buy our way out of everything like some individuals can buy their way out of everything until someone decides to release tapes that obviously or were allegedly purchased for $50,000.
Yep.